Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar. This is going to be the first webinar for us for 2021. It's Victoria Beal with the Ohio LTAP Center. And we wanted to kick the year off with a webinar on our new website. LTAP is a part of the Ohio Department of Transportation, as I'm certain all of you who are on this webinar already know. And the agency is going through a website update, and they are changing the look and feel of not only the website, but how content is delivered. So if any of you could think back to maybe a recent other change in your life, I know that I went through one last year that some of my personal friends kind of teased me about, where our local grocery store decided to remodel and move everything around. And it was very aggravating to me that they did not provide us really any guidance on where things had gone. And it took me a few months to figure things out. So when we knew that this website change was coming, I thought it would be a good thing for us to take some time for anyone who is interested and just to go ahead and go through an overview of the website. So you'd have this. There is going to be, if the recording is successful, the recording posted later so you can refer back to it if you need to. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start taking you through our website. Again, this is Victoria Beal with the LTAP Center, and our main LTAP page is the one that you're seeing here currently displayed on the screen. And I want to talk to you just for a second about the top part, which you've probably been seeing rotate for a little bit. They did put in what's called a slider up top, and this will rotate through however many screens based on the number of buttons that are right below it. So if you want to see something that was on there and rotated away too quickly and you didn't get a chance to look at it, you can always push the buttons at the bottom there to go to the item that you want to look at. I also want to caution you up top where we have what's called the breadcrumb trail. The ODOT website is no longer set up according to our divisions and our offices. So for those of you who are familiar with what division our office and program specifically sit in, if you click up the breadcrumb trail, it's not going to take you to the Office of Local Programs anymore. It's going to take you to a much broader focused Know Our Programs page. What they're trying to do is to make the website more user-friendly for the public, and the public doesn't always have the ODOT table of organization taped up on their wall next to them when they're looking at our website. So they're trying to look at it from the public's perspective and how they would go about finding information. So all the more reason it's important to know, especially if you need to find information on our website, where to go. So the next thing I want to show you as we scroll down the page, and I know there's just a slight delay, so hopefully it's catching up with me, is that I wanted to talk about this main page just as an overview, and then we're going to go into different sections of it. We still have the LTAP information to the left, and to the right is where our contact information is. And we have our email address, phone number. But if you want to see everyone who works in the LTAP Center's contact information, you can click on View All Contacts, and that's going to take you over to the page that has all of our contact information. Now, I know quite a few of you have already found our form for asking questions, but for those of you who haven't, we do have a form that you could click on this link here that it'll take you to that you can actually submit a question into our staff. If say you have a question, you're online doing e-learning and it's after regular business hours, you want to send a question in, you're welcome to, and we'll get back to you as soon as we get back in the office. That goes to our general email box, which all of us have access to. And then we have our contact information below. And if you are looking for our colleagues on the other side of our office, we have a link here to the local program staff information. So that's quick and easy. I'm going to back up from here by using the back button. You could also click on the breadcrumb trail, but I wouldn't go any higher than the LTAP link on the breadcrumb trail if you're going to use that, just because, as I'd mentioned, it kind of takes you out of the normal thought process of it going back up the chain on the table of organization. So the next section, which is really, I think, a nice improvement, especially for those of you using mobile devices, is that they have split our information into these cards. And each card is going to take you to a different page. Below that, we have upcoming events and we have some other cards, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But first off, I want to take you into each of these cards to show you what the information is that's available under that card. As I click on this, you might say, well, when I click into the available training, you're going to see also a link for e-learning in there. We do have different places that you can get to the same information because we realize that everybody has their own way of thinking through where should something really be and how can I get to that information. And also I want to mention to you that at the end of the webinar today, we are going to have a survey that's going to be pop up on your screen when I end. And I would ask if there's something in here that you think doesn't quite make sense or you think could have been done a little bit better, to just give us the feedback on that survey, because we are always looking for ways to improve. So just, think of this as a starting point. So I'm going to click on available training, which is going to take us over to that training page. And it gives you information here in the center section about the type of courses we offer. But over to the right, e-learning courses is one of the top buttons. So if you are looking for our e-learning courses, you can get to them from here. Right below that, we have two sections, and we're going to work with our communications folks to try to streamline this a little bit more. But what we were trying to do is to offer a link back to some of our previous webinars and training courses. And we do have some information in there for some ones that were held previously. The reason it dates all the way back to 2019 is that we wanted to make sure you kept a link to Show Me the Money, which was previously held at the end of 2019. So if you're looking for something that's happened before, you can click in there, and then moving forward from this month forward, we're going to have a new archive section, or excuse me, for the webinars archive prior to this month will be here. So anyway, like I said, we're going to try to clean this up and move webinars just into one area and training courses into another. But that's just one little thing that I'm still working through with our folks over in communications. As you scroll down the page, if you want more information on the e-learning webpage, there's also a link here. We have a link on this page as well to sign up for our email listserv, which I'm guessing the majority of you who are on this webinar have already done that, because that's probably how you found out about this webinar today. But if you know somebody else who says that you're always sending the LTAP emails to, just tell them to subscribe themselves and they can come here and click on that link to sign up for it. So below that, we've got a listing of all of the upcoming training events. Right now we've got 26 already scheduled for 2021. Of course, today's event is there because we haven't gotten past 3 o'clock yet. It's going to automatically drop off after 3. And I will tell you that the way they're laid out is it goes left and then right, and then left and then right. So you kind of have to read them on a zigzag motion. So as you scroll through it, though, we do have items laid out. So if you are interested in that specific event, you can click on it, like the O.LPA local let update. I know that Andrea plans to do some of these throughout the year. We're going to have some here in the winter, early spring months, and this one is being offered about 4 or 5 times between now and the beginning of spring. So for the different dates, you'll find different entries on here for that one. Oops. And then I clicked on the numbers at the bottom so you could go over to the rest of the items. So right now we have pages 1 and 2 up. My guess is that as we get further into the year and we start adding all the NHI courses and all of the other courses that are offered throughout the year, that we'll probably get quite a bit more entries on here, and we could go up to 4 or 5 pages in the area. Okay, so someone was saying that they don't see where to get the LTAP from the Know Your Programs Well, that's interesting. I'll have to navigate back up to that page. I'm going to keep going right now on the overview of the site itself. When we get to the end, we'll navigate back up to that upper level page above us and see what they have out there. But I would think that they should have LTAP on there, since we reside right under that page. So I'm scroll back over to page 1 on the entries. Now you'll notice as you scroll down the page, there are some additional cards that kind of got hidden down here at the bottom that I want to show you. First off, we have a resource on how continuing professional development credits work in Ohio for engineers and surveyors. So if you're interested in this information, you can click on that link. The one thing I wanted to make sure that you were all aware of as well, in addition to like the answers to these questions, is the ethics training information, because I know ethics is always a hot commodity and people have to have that for their renewals. So we have information down here about just what the requirement is, and then a couple of offerings that are not scheduled offerings. They're what is termed asynchronous, meaning you can get in there and actually take these courses online. And then there's also ongoing webinars that the Ohio Ethics Commission offers that you can sign up for and take that'll also meet that requirement. So you can watch for when we schedule webinars. We have a very popular one coming up where our partner, Dane Ringel from the Ohio County Engineers Association, will be offering the education next month. But if you miss that for some reason and need the ethics training, that information's down there under continuing professional development. I'm going to scroll back up and finish going through these cards. So I hope I'm not making anybody sick with the way this is scrolling. I'm trying to take it easy on you. At the bottom, we also have the ability to provide credits for planners. We are a registered provider through the for AICP credits. So if you click on that link, that card, it'll bring you to this page, and it gives you information on how to go in to the site and make sure that you're able to get the credits for the courses you've attended through LTAP to be able to renew your license. So I'm going to back up. And one thing as you're watching this webinar, I want to point out is that the way these pages are set up with the cards, you're going to see this same look and feel on a lot of the other ODOT pages. So hopefully, watching this webinar is going to help you out with understanding how the other ODOT pages are set up as well. We have our Road Scholar Training Recognition Program. We have so many great folks who have decided to be a part of this program with the Road Scholars Level 1, 2, and 3 recognitions, and also our safety distinction. So if you're interested in this program or you're a part of it and you just want to come back in and download the current packet, it's available here as a PDF on the right-hand side. They did try to minimize the number of PDFs that are offered on the website, so you're going to see them here and there, but you're not going to see them on everything that we have out here on our website. So that's where the Road Scholar information is now at. And the last card we had at the bottom was for circuit rider training. Now, the circuit rider training are the courses that we offer that are available upon request for local agencies that are short courses, meaning they're 2 to 3 hours, and we have specific topics that we provide them on, like generations and emotional intelligence, or if you just want to do the EI course, the emotional intelligence competencies. Our most popular one is the work zone traffic control. Prior to the stay-at-home order, Ray, who's our circuit rider, work zone traffic control instructor, was out teaching probably a minimum of 50 of these sessions a year. The nice thing about circuit rider courses is that they are available at no cost to your agency. So if you're interested, especially once we get back to being able to offer classes for groups larger than 10 people, please feel free to contact us. You have to have a minimum of 15 people, but we will come to you. We just need you to provide a good training facility, meaning a meeting room, tables, chairs. We frequently offer these courses in break rooms and county garages. So we would be happy to bring any one of these courses out to you and offer them to your agency. So I'm going to go back up to our available training. So we've gone over this page, you know where the items are located here now. So I'm going to scroll back up to our top page, and I am keeping an eye on the question box. So if you have questions, please feel free to put them in there. I'm going to scroll back down now, and we have the next card, which is technical assistance, that I'm going to click on. And under technical assistance, we have a number of items that are resources for your agency. One of the things that LTAP is to provide is training, and the other one is technical assistance. And we can do the technical assistance in a number of different ways. One is through, personal contact, phone calls. We can come out and meet with you. But we also create resources frequently when we see that there's a big need in a certain area, like the ADA transition plan resources. So this is one where we've provided background on what the ADA transition plan is to be, but we also give you a template and take you through the steps of setting one up for your agency. So it's almost like a toolbox of sorts that you can use to be able to complete that requirement for your local agency. And we have a number of these tech transfer type toolboxes in this section. I'm not going to click into every single one, but we have how to perform a curve speed study. So if you need to check the advisory speed for your curves and make sure that it's up to date, or you've been having, some crashes on a curve and you want to just check and see, do you have that signed with the most up-to-date advisory speed that you should have? You can come in here and understand how to do that. We have step-by-step videos in there for you. We also have a dash cam video recorder toolbox, and the reason we have this on here about how to use a dash cam is that under the next card, our equipment loan program, we actually will loan you a dash cam if you need it. And you can use this for a number of things. You could use it to go out and video your roads, to go back and review with a group to see if you feel like there's any type of safety improvements that need to be made, almost like a virtual road safety audit. You could go out and use it to record your roadways, to have a recorded capture of your sign inventory. So, really it can be used in a number of different ways. Our equipment loan program, it's real easy. Once you click on that card, it'll bring you over to the program page, and it explains to you how it works. And then if you want to request any of the equipment we have available, you can click on the launch button, and it'll take you over to the loan form where you can actually request that equipment. And normally we loan out the equipment for approximately 3 weeks unless you have a longer need for it. But once we receive your request, we'll go ahead and contact you and get the details worked out. In this area, we also have another toolbox on how to build a geosynthetic reinforced soil integrated bridge system. This is called the GRS IBS bridge system, and this has been a very popular innovation out of the Everyday Counts initiative. It was from one of their very first rounds, and folks who have done this have actually seen a huge cost savings on their bridges. I know that Warren Schlater in Defiance County has been one of the leaders nationally on this. So we've got a toolbox here, explains how to do it. We also have a toolbox on how to conduct a road safety audit. We have in the next area what's called our route of navigation. Now this is an area where we have created job aids. And job aids are really intended to be shorter explanations of how to do something. So if we get a question pretty frequently, what will happen is we'll end up creating a job aid. And I'm going to go ahead and expand out the number of entries here to show you all of the ones we have currently, because we have 90 of them out there. But, if you have a question about whether you should use a dead end or no outlet sign, then you can click there and it'll take you to the job aid. And it's just a little 2-pager that explains to you that topic. It's not intended to, answer every question about signs that could possibly be out there. But, if you have a staff person that's new and you need them to go and deal with this question, and you can come here and see if we have a job aid on it. I know we have a job aid about whether you should use a curve sign or a turn sign when you have gone through and measured the advisory speed for a curve, but there's a number of topics. And what's really nice is that you can also now come up here and search for a keyword on this. So say we wanted to search for a keyword on MUTCD, which is the Ohio Manual Uniform Traffic Control Devices. There you go. We searched on that term, and there's actually 3 job aids that reference that. So you can search by keyword and hopefully find it quicker. So I wanted to make sure you were aware that that's there. So a toolbox is much more extensive in helping you. Job aids are shorter help files that can help you. Traffic sign retroreflectivity, this is a toolbox area that gives you details on the sign standards and what should happen or should have happened already as far as your plan. And if you don't, for some reason, have a sign retro plan in place, you can come here and we actually have fill in the blanks that you can download and fill in to show that you've you have a sign retroreflectivity plan in place and that you've adopted it for your jurisdiction. So this obviously isn't meant for, large cities. It's meant for smaller jurisdictions, villages, townships. But what we're trying to do is give you the tools you need to make sure that you're staying in compliance with what the requirements are on these different topics. So scrolling down just a little bit more, we are also reaching over into the new generations. We have some smartphone apps if you're interested in that, and those are also located on this resource page. Once you click in there, it'll take you to links where you can download our smartphone apps for the different topics that we have. We've got roadside safety field guide. We have an app on traffic sign installation, and then the guidelines for work zone traffic control. This is the old laminated flip book that a lot of folks used to have in their trucks when they go out to do work zone. It's now available as an app. So those are out there for you. And if you download them from the app stores, they're at no cost, which is always nice. Here we have a card on the Traffic Academy, which is a area where courses are offered for different consultants pre-qualification to do work in those areas. Under resources, we also have our video lending. Now, everything that we could possibly put on YouTube, we did. Everything that was public domain, we have on our YouTube channel. And I'll cover that here in a second with you, but I wanted to let you know that we do still have some videos that are not public domain that, have copyright on them, and we can lend those out to you if you're interested. We have them both on all of them are on DVD, and we can load them out for up to 3 weeks at a time. I know there's a real nice series if you're going to do chainsaw chipper work that we purchased from Husqvarna that takes you through all the safety techniques and tips and right down to what happens with your chaps if they get caught by a chainsaw and how important it is to have that type of safety equipment. On our YouTube channel, as I mentioned, we put all of our public domain videos out there, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're interested in knowing when new videos are posted. If you're someone who looks at YouTube, what will happen is if you subscribe, then it'll just come up in your subscribe list to let you know that we've posted a new video. A lot of the videos we post these days are the videos of the webinars that we have hosted and recorded when we're able to. So you can join over 2,000 other folks in subscribing to our YouTube channel if you're interested there. I'm going to back up to our page. All right, so those are different technical assistance and services that we have for you. I'm going to go back up to the next page above that. And we're back now to where we've covered available training, technical assistance. I want to touch on e-learning because this has been a huge area. especially over this last year. One of the things we've seen happen is that there's been a major push, especially with courses that are required courses to do work in different areas like Traffic Academy or Work Type 57 or Work Type 26, to move them over to e-learning so you can take them anytime. A big thing right now, I know that they put out the press release yesterday, is the Unmanned Aerial Systems courses, the UAS courses. Those are all on our e-learning system. So if you already have a username and password, you can click on e-learning, you can launch into our e-learning system right here, log yourself in and go for it. If you're interested in what is in the catalog, we actually have what I call an old school catalog here for you, that you can click on this yellow button to the right to download it, and it'll open up a PDF that gives you all of our classes that are currently available in the e-learning system. This PDF, though, is 182 pages long. So what I tend to do when I'm looking at our PDF is, once I get past the intro part that explains to you how to get your account and how to set things up, is to go down to the table of contents. And you can look there for different information on what courses are available. The other little trick you can use in this area is, if you push the control button and F on your keyboard for find, you could search by a specific name. So I searched by awareness, and it took me to the Ethics Awareness for Engineers, which is a course that we've gotten through our subscription with AASHTO that's available that you can take. But there's also 31 more instances of that word here in the catalog. So you can then use your buttons to start up and down carrots to start scrolling through looking for that keyword. So we have this out there if you're interested in it. Sometimes people just want to hold the paper in their hands and look it over. And if that's the case, you're welcome to come here and print this out. We do try to update it at minimum quarterly with all of the new courses we've added. So that's available again from that yellow button on the website page. And then if you scroll down, our folks who have put the website together also made an online electronic version of the catalog, which, if you click on some of these links here, like local public agency, it'll take you down the screen to that area and open up and show you the available courses in that area. But it's the same information that's contained in that PDF catalog. So the other thing I wanted to make sure you're aware of is that the instructions have moved down the page. If you have somebody who's new to e-learning, they need to either come here to understand how to get their My ODOT account to log into e-learning, or you can give them the first few pages out of the catalog in order to explain to them how it is that they need to get their account. And that's, again, either here on the website or they can get it out of the catalog. So we've got all of this information about the different courses that are in the e-learning program available here for you. So hopefully I'm not going too fast for everybody. I just wanted to make sure that I'm doing a comprehensive review of the website. So there's the e-learning section. Now, the next section I'm going to talk to you about, I'll come back up to our top level page, is our resources. And when I click in here, it takes you to some different resources that we offer through LTAP. And some of these are resources that we've built. Some of them are resources that we do in partnership with other areas of ODOT. Our Active Transportation Academy is a very exciting resource because we know that there has been an increase in people walking and biking and riding transit. So this is an area that you can go in to get information about all of the different Active Transportation Academy courses that are offered at no cost to you through the LTAP program and through the Active Transportation Academy program. So we have different courses that are instructor-led. We've got community workshops. We have e-learning out there. If you're just interested in active transportation, this is the place you should go to get information about it. I'm not going to go over everything in that area, but if you're interested, it's there. We've also been fortunate to be able to build some, one I call it a database, but really it's just a listing that to help you look up information. Like the alternative contracting methods, this is a resource where we've gone through and looked at different projects that used different alternative contracting methods, and we've created a searchable list where if you're interested in a certain type of alternative contracting method and you want to find out who else has done it and who you can call to talk to about best practices or even lessons learned, you can come here to this area, click in there and search. Same with the safety countermeasures community of practice. There are 20 different safety countermeasures that Federal Highway has put forth. And if you're interested in finding out who has done what in Ohio, whether if you're interested in putting in back plates on your signals at your intersections, or you want to know, talk to somebody who has done the hybrid pedestrian beacon, we've got a listing in here for you of the projects that have had that incorporated, who the project owners were, and phone numbers and email addresses to contact them. So if you're interested in learning from, what they did in their project to possibly do it in your community, that's available for you. We also have put together a list of resources on heavy equipment training. We aren't able to provide that through our program any longer, but we know that there's a huge demand for that, and that's why we've put together a resource list for you there. We also have a link to our highway safety program, which could be a 2-day webinar in itself, so I'm not going to click into that area. But if you are looking for information, resources on highway safety, there's a link to it. We have a link to the manual uniform traffic control devices on ODOT's webpage. Now, as I tell folks, this is the Bible for signs and traffic control in Ohio. So if every local jurisdiction is eligible to get one free copy of this book, and it's about 4 inches thick. I personally prefer to get it online because then I can do that Control F and search in it. So here's where you can click to go to that resource. We have an online publication resource database, and what it does is it provides you different items that we have found that you can tap into if you have information, you want to find out information on a certain topic. Say you've got to deal with, vegetation and some vegetation issues. You can come here and just search for the word vegetation, and it's going to pull up items that we've already looked at and we know that are credible that you can then click on to access and be able to review and use, hopefully to answer your questions that you have. So we continually add to that. There are quite a few that we've added through the years. I believe we're up over 800 different resources in this area. So I'd encourage you, if you need to find out more on a certain topic, this is the place to start. It's kind of like your online library for roadway topics. So I'm going to go back up the breadcrumb trail here to resources. Now, ORail is a very, very popular program in Ohio. It's been around for, I believe, 7 to 8 years now. It's actually a local road research program, and it's only the third one in the nation that's ever been created. The first two which were created were Iowa and Minnesota, and those programs have been around for 50 years. So ours is much newer, but they are doing great work, and what it does is ORail looks for research that needs to be done on local roadways, and it will ask for research ideas, and then it'll complete different research projects. So you see here they've got also cards like we do, but I would recommend that you familiarize yourself with ORail if you're interested in getting answers to problems that you're having, solutions to the different issues that you're encountering on your roadways. And then you might even, click into the projects area to see what projects have been completed in the different topics to see if there's an answer to a question that you've had. So it's just good information that's out there that I think it's important that you know about and know that the program's there. It is funded through ODOT at about $500,000 a year for the different research programs. And then farther down, we have our printed and multimedia resources. We haven't had as much call for this over the last 12 months because we haven't really been doing a lot of training in person, but when we have extra training course manuals that are left over after we've hosted courses, or if we receive different printed materials, say from Federal Highway, we'll put them out here on this list, and then we'll notify you through the listserv that these publications are available in case you're interested in receiving a printed copy. And here are links to a couple of our apps. As I mentioned, we are not just putting a link to something in one place, but our website team has decided that there's certain things that should be put multiple places. So we've got the resources, and I don't have a whole lot more to go through, so I appreciate the majority of you hanging in here with me. I'm back to our top level page, and I want to explain next under those 4 cards that we went over, our upcoming events calendar. And this calendar section here is really just going to show you what's coming up in the next few days. It's not going to give you a long-term view, but if you click on View More Events, what it'll do is actually take you into the same page that if you had clicked on Available Training, and then you can see all of the training sessions that are scheduled. Below that, on our main page, we've got links for our newsletters. We have a link to our Facebook page. If you're not our friend on Facebook, that's okay, but we'd love to have you as a friend if you are on Facebook. So you can click here and go in and friend us, so you'll get updates that way. Here's another link to our YouTube site. And then on the right-hand side, we have a link to the local programs website, which is the other half of our office, and they are the ones who have the money for the projects. We do training and technical assistance. They are the ones that administer the money that goes out to all the local agencies to complete the different projects. So I'm going to back up for a second, just click into our newsletter area. We try to keep at least 2 years back in addition to the current year out here. We haven't put our first newsletter out yet for this year, but if you want to see the newsletters from the last 2 years, they'll be out here, and you can come in and click on it, and it'll tell you, in general what some of the topics are. So I think that's going to pretty well wrap up my overview of our website. So if you have questions that I have not answered or things that you didn't see, go ahead and drop them in the question box. I'm going to navigate back up to know our programs, because that was one question that did come in, and they wanted to know where to find LTAP under know our programs. So let's go ahead and scroll down, and let's just try searching for LTAP and see what it gets us. Okay, I searched for LTAP, and there we go. We've got a picture of Mike Fitch when he's teaching in the auditorium. So if you search for LTAP, then you can find it that way, and it'll take you back to our page. So it must have been buried in there. I think when we first pulled this page up, they've got a ton of cards in here. And as you see, they only put 3 rows of cards per page. But if you look on these numbers at the very bottom, it'll scroll you through. I would encourage you, though, as you're getting used to the new ODOT website, to definitely use this search feature that they're giving you. So that way you can hopefully more quickly find things like LTAP instead of having to, click through all those pages down there at the bottom. So I'm going to do that search feature again to get us back to our page. Oh, it says, someone said the LTAP card is on page 4. So there you go. All right, what other questions do you guys have? I'm hoping that this was helpful because, again, I know when I went to the grocery store and they had started moving things, It was so aggravating for me, and I guess that's just part of being an adult, but I thought if nothing else, this could give you a good overview of where things had gone on our web page. And again, the survey that is going to pop up after we conclude here in just a few seconds. Please give us some feedback if you think there's things that we've missed or items that you think we could have done a little better. So I don't see any other questions coming in the question box, so I'm going to give you guys some time back in your hour that you committed to us. Actually, I see one person has their hand raised, Mike Meyer. So, Mike, I will try unmuting you on my side, and you can unmute yourself. I think you're unmuted. Did you want to ask an audio question? You're welcome to now if you unmute yourself on your side. Okay, I'm not hearing an audio question. So Mike, I'll be here if you want to follow up with me afterwards too. You can just go to our webpage and click on View All Contacts, and then it'll take you to the information for our staff, and you can call me. My number's right there. All right, thank you everyone. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Take care.